Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm a sleep physician. And if you have insomnia, this channel is for you. Kim from episode 125 has a follow-up question. She's overall doing better, but it still takes her a long time to fall asleep, and she has very superficial sleep, and she's wondering, will this pattern ever break? And I am very confident it will. Just keep on going, Kim. It's super nice having you back here. Really happy you're tuned in, and if you're new to the channel, I hope you really find something of value to you here. Now, Kim has contributed a lot to this channel, specifically episode 125, and there's another episode, I forget the number, but I just titled it like Keep on Kim that time. So if you want some more background, you can definitely tune into those episodes. Now, briefly, she contacted me like about 3 weeks ago after having gone like 3 nights without sleeping. I was very optimistic that she could just kind of like get back on track. Didn't happen, so she is embarking on like, using CBTI, specifically bedtime restriction, to get better. And before we get to our email, nothing here is medical advice, as I always say, but just general comments and advice that I hope will be helpful to you, Kim, and anybody else tuning in. Now, let's read this email that I got from Kim 1 day ago. So Kim's writing, I continue to see small improvements with sleep restriction therapy. And for those of you who are not familiar with this, it's spending less time in bed so that you have a stronger sleep drive that helps you sleep through. It's like a key technique for using for improving your sleep, or treating insomnia rather. So she sees small improvement with that. I believe I'm definitely getting more sleep than I think I'm getting, as I feel okay during the day despite my short window of 5.5 hours. And that window is like she's only spending 5.5 hours in bed now, again, to get more solid sleep. And overall, Kim, like the main thing I want to tell you here really is I'm very encouraged. Any improvement that you see like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, like, fairly early on, is something you should really like focus on, play up, like think about that, because you are on the right track, So I am very, very encouraged, and I'll actually talk more about that in a second. But the other thing I want to comment on was that I in clinic, I think that's one of the big like ahas, like one of the big insights that people get is like when I see them back after, let's say, 4 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that of doing a bedtime restriction or sleep restriction, is a lot of people are like, I'm sleeping pretty good now, and I guess I only need 6 hours. It's like a big surprise. Now, here's the thing. Like, yes, a lot of people do really well on, let's say, 6 hours, 6.5, 7 hours, something like that. But a reason people often are surprised is that they think that they now suddenly only need 6 hours. But in reality, it's often that when they didn't have any problem sleeping, they didn't really think about sleep. They somehow overestimated. They thought they slept 7 hours. But now that they're like very, very like aware, they realize that they only sleep 6 hours. But in reality, they probably always slept about 6 hours, So just a little comment on that. Okay, let's read on here. It is still taking me 1 hour or more to fall asleep once I get into bed, despite the fact that I will be walking circles around my couch to stay awake prior to getting into bed. I am definitely not falling into deep sleep, and I think I'm mostly in stage 1, and then I have a few dreams, so I assume I'm getting some REM sleep, which I have read is not uncommon to go straight into when you're sleep deprived. Will this pattern ever break eventually? So answer that last question. Yeah, I definitely think this pattern will break. I think, I know 3 weeks is a long time, battling insomnia like you're doing now, but yeah, I think you're on the right track. I think this pattern will break. And a couple of things. So number one, for anybody except Kim here, check this out. Kim is walking circles around her couch not to fall asleep at night, And I think she is so dedicated, working so hard, is why she's seeing like little improvements. A lot of people fall into this like, aren't able to do it. Like they feel really tired. It's 10 p.m. It's like, I got to sit down. They sit down, and when they sit down, they're like, I just want to close my eyes to rest a little bit, and then boom, they fall asleep. It may only be 25 minutes, but that may be enough to then really disrupt your sleep. So Kim, you're doing really, really good. I'm really, really encouraged. Okay, so comment on that. And now sleep stages. So Deep sleep is also called stage 3 sleep, and that's considered kind of the most rejuvenating, refreshing sleep, and the body really wants that, meaning if you're sleep deprived, then most of your sleep will be stage 3 sleep. That's the body really wants to recover that sleep. So that's the one where you typically, if you're sleep deprived, you typically go straight into deep sleep, stage 3 sleep. Now, REM sleep, on the other hand, where we have like a lot of dreaming, that's circadianly driven, meaning it typically happens no matter if you're sleep deprived or not. It typically happens, early morning, like 5 a.m. or most of it is there. So I think what's happening in your case, Kim, is more that you still have a lot of sleep apprehension. You still have some sleep anxiety. You're very aware of your sleep. So you're right. I think you fall into like a stage 1 sleep, and then you wake up maybe a little bit, stay back into stage 1. And what happens is we can dream in other. Actually, it's pretty common to dream in other sleep stages. We don't only dream in REM sleep. So I think you're having some dreaming in like stage 1 or stage 2 sleep, and the fact that you wake up so much makes you remember it. Most of us dream actually most of the night, but we don't remember it because we're asleep. So I think what's happening to you is more a testament to you still have fragmented sleep. All right, so I overall, Kim, very encouraged. Keep doing what you're doing. Please let me know how things are going. And if you, Kim, have any questions, anybody else any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment or email me at daniel@insomniainsight.co, and we'll see you back here hopefully very soon. Till then, bye-bye.